'cause I'm a fool for your love.
To be sharing with you how to get that foxy eyes look that is going around on TikTok and social media. It's basically a way to just really lift your eyes and give them that exotic shape using only makeup, no surgery necessary. It's actually really easy, and I've really been liking this look on like an everyday basis. So yeah, if you want to see how to get this look, then just keep watching. Okay, so you can definitely see the difference on two sides. I feel like this side is definitely more lifted and it just gives that more angular look to the eye, that more exotic look. So yeah, I'm gonna explain every step on this eye, and honestly this look is super easy. It really doesn't take a lot of products, and I think this is like a perfect everyday look because like I said, it's really quick and really easy. So let's get started on this eye. To start off, we're going to prime the eye. I'm actually going to use concealer. If you're going to use concealer, I suggest using something that dries down to a matte finish, something that's not going to be super creamy and crease up on you. So I'm going to be using the MAC Studio Fix concealer in NC, what shade is this? NC20, and I like this because it's a very thin formula, but it also dries down, so it's not going to crease on my eyelids. I just personally like to put some sort of concealer or something that's going to even out my eyelid, just because I do have some discoloration. It's just like a little bit darker, so I just want to even everything out. So I'm not going to put too much. I'm just going to put a little bit, and I'm just going to use this little guy right here to blend it out. Okay, now that I have my eyes primed, I'm then going to go in with some bronzer. The reason why I'm using bronzer is because one, I already put it on my face, so it's already out. It's one less product that I have to reach for. And I just feel like bronzer is like the perfect tone for what I'm trying to achieve here. I just want a little bit of definition in the crease. I don't want it to be too warm, like too orange, but I also don't want it to be too cool. That's just my preference. I also like to just tie in the colors on the eyes into the face as well, because we already use this shade on the face, so it's just gonna tie the whole look together a lot more nicely. So I'm just gonna take a fluffy brush, take a little bit of the bronzer, and then I'm gonna kind of put the brush directly like straight onto my eye, and I'm going to keep this really high up in the crease, and I'm really just using super light pressure, and I bring this all throughout my eye. And I'm also bringing it in towards the brow as well to finish off that nose contour. I really like to bring my nose contour up into the eyeshadow. It just, I don't know, it just ties everything nicely together rather than just eyes and then nose contour. Like, it just kind of makes everything flow a lot better. So I'm doing that, and then I'm gonna take what's left and I'm gonna kind of wing out the bronzer. And then we're going to actually change the shape of the brush. So I'm going to go in with a pointed blending brush. The other one that I used was more of a traditional brush, but this one has more of a tapered end, and it's just going to allow me to get into that crease a little bit better. So I'm basically just going to define the crease a little bit more with the bronzer. I'm not changing the products that I'm using. I'm just using the tip of the brush to, like I said, just kind of define that crease a little bit better. And then I'm going to take this eyeshadow from the e.l.f. Bite Size Cream and Sugar palettes, and I'm going to be taking this, it's kind of like a skin tone color. It's like a light peachy color. It's not too light, but it's also not too dark. It's like the perfect shade for my lid, but if you are a lot paler than me, I would maybe use like a lighter cream shade. And I'm going to use this just to basically set my lid and also define that crease a little bit more. So I'm just taking this flat brush here, and I'm just going to pack that color on and kind of use the tip of the brush to define that like crease area. I personally always have to make sure I put some sort of shadow or powder or something on my lids just because I am very oily and I feel like my eyeshadow, my eyes would crease if I didn't have something on there. Okay. Now we're going to move on to the liner part, and for this part I'm actually going to take another one of the bite-sized quads, and I'm going to be using this one, which is in Truffles. I'm going to be using this darkest brown color, and I'm going to take a little angled brush. You're going to want to use something that has a very fine tip and like a small little angle. It's just going to make it a lot easier to give that little flick eyeliner. And what I like to do is I actually like to spray my brush, so I'm going to be using just a random facial spray. Any type of facial spray will work, MAC Fix Plus or any type of, you know, facial or setting spray. I just sprayed the brush down pretty well, and then I'm going to dip into the brown, and this is just going to make the brown more intense, but it's also going to help it set, since we are using eyeshadow, because I want it to be a little bit of a softer look rather than just using traditional like liquid liner or gel liner. I just like the effect the shadow gives. However, I want the shadow to last. So that's why I'm using a setting spray as well, because it's just gonna help the shadow set and last all day. So what you're gonna wanna do is I'm just gonna start at the middle of the eye. I feel like I need a little bit more on my brush. And I'm just going to, like I said, start in the middle of the eye and then work my way out. I'm not bringing this eyeliner all the way in because you don't have to. Keeping the eyeliner on the outer half of the eye is going to help lift it. So once I've drawn across the eye, I'm then going to work on the tip. So remember, you want the liner to be going upwards like this on an angle. You don't want to draw it too far out, because if you draw it too far out, it's really not going to give you that lifted shape. You want to bring your eyes up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip the brush with the point going down, and I'm going to kind of map out the wing, like how far slanted and like how far up I want it to go, and also how angled I want it to be. And what's nice is if you're using shadow, it's going to be a little bit easier to clean up if you do happen to mess up. And for this step, I really do recommend using very light pressure, just because you kind of want to let the brush do the work for you. And then I'm going to switch the angle of the brush, so now the point is facing away from me, and I'm going to start creating the wing and kind of connecting the space. And I feel like my brush is a little bit dry, so I'm just going to spray it again. So it's not perfect right now, but we're gonna go back in and kind of sharpen everything up. So don't worry about that yet if it's not exactly how you want it to be, because like I said, one of the steps will kind of help clean it up. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take MAC Costa Riche Eye Kohl, which is just a brown eyeliner. And what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to put it on the lower waterline, but literally just to like right here. I'm really keeping it on the outer corner and just connecting it with the liner we just did. And I'm going to kind of reapply it on this eye just because I feel like I need to. But yeah, I'm just putting it to right about there. I'm not bringing it all the way in because that's just going to close off my eye and kind of defeat the purpose of everything we're trying to do here. Okay, now I'm going to go in with a pencil brush. I'm going to take the bronzer that we use and I'm just going to run that on the lower lash line just so we have a little bit of color. I'm not really worried about it being super pigmented or anything like that. I just want a tiny bit of color down there. Now I'm going to take another tiny little brush and I'm actually going to mix these two colors together for the inner corner highlight. So it's just like a bronzy color and a champagne, and I'm just going to mix the two together like I said. and this is gonna go on my inner corner. I personally really love an inner corner highlight. I feel like I can't do my makeup without it. If you'd rather use like a matte shade rather than a shimmer, that's fine. I like a little bit of shimmer and I feel like it just looks really nice. So I'm just gonna pop that on the inner corner of my eye. Okay, once you have the inner corner highlight on, then we're gonna do the liner on the inner corner of the eye. I'm still gonna use eyeshadow. However, if you wanna use a liner for this part, you can. And the only reason why I say that is because we are putting this on our tear ducts pretty much. So, you know, if your eyes are tearing or anything like that, it is gonna come off faster since we're using a shadow rather than a gel liner or something like that. Gel liner is always gonna last longer. However, I did try this out like 2 different times and I only used shadow. I didn't use a gel and it still lasted pretty well all day. So I'm just gonna continue with that because again, it's just easier to work with. So I'm just gonna continue with the eyeshadow, but personal preference, if you want it to be a little bit more dramatic in the inner corner or if you just want it to last all day, then I would probably use a gel liner. So again, I'm just gonna dip back into the same brown we used before and I'm going to spray my brush. And for this part, you're going to want to put the point facing outwards, the point of the brush, and you're going to basically want to draw on the very inner portion of your lower waterline. And then you're going to want to do the same thing on the upper lash line. So just really get into that corner. So sometimes if you struggle with this, or like if it's hard for you to really get close to that eye area, I would look down like this. I would tilt my head back, look down, and get in there that way. It just makes it a little bit easier to kind of see what you're doing. And then for the extended part, I'm gonna flip my brush where the point is facing my eye, like that. And I'm just going to very, very lightly kind of drag the brush, like flick it outwards to create that like cat eye shape in the tear duct area. Okay, so now I'm actually going to take a highlighting powder because part of this look is not just what you do with the eyes, but it's also how you highlight your face and specifically this area of your face, you know, the eye area. Highlighting really does make a big difference. So I'm going to take MAC Emphasize. And this is a highlighting powder that's meant, you know, for underneath the eyes or any area where you apply a lighter concealer. And I'm going to take a little flat definer brush and put it on there. And I'm going to use this to clean up the outer wing. This is just going to make it more precise, make the tip a little bit finer, and also it's by adding a little bit of highlighter in this area and lightening up this area, it's going to help with that lifting effect. I mean, if you want to use concealer for this part, that's fine too. However, I don't really like adding creams on top of powders. I've already powdered my face and everything, so I don't want to make my face cakey. So I'd rather just go in with a powder on top of a powder. Okay, now for mascara, I am going to curl my lashes again to just enhance that lifted effect. You don't want your lashes to be pointing down or straight out. You want them to be lifted. So I'm just going to use an eyelash curler and curl my lashes. And then I'm just going to go in with Benefit's Roller Lash. I've actually really been liking this mascara. And I'm just going to apply a really good coat to my lashes. Actually, probably 2 coats. So I didn't put a ton on the lower lash line because I really want the drama on the upper lash line, but I did put a little bit on the lower lash line. Okay, one of the key parts to this look, in my opinion, besides the eyeliner, obviously, because that's really what makes this look, is half lashes. So they're not a full strip lash, they're these little half lashes. If you type in half lashes on Amazon, a bunch of different ones will come up. I will say the shipping right now, because I ordered a pair yesterday, they're not coming till like mid-May, unfortunately, but there's so many different ones to choose from. And what's great about half lashes is it still gives you that volume. It, you know, still gives you a little bit of length that, you know, that's better than your natural lashes, at least for my natural lashes, because they're not super long. But they're also just really, really comfortable because they're not, it's not a band going across your whole eye. It's literally just on the outer corner, so it's just way more comfortable. But since the drama is just gonna stay on this outer corner where the liner is, it's gonna help kind of elevate the eye even more. You could just do mascara. It still looks really pretty with mascara, but again, I just think the lashes really take it like up a notch. I will link some different ones in the description box, but again, like I said, if you just go on Amazon and, you know, type in half lashes, a bunch of different ones will come up. Also, I feel like half lashes are really easy to apply because you don't have to fuss with the inner corner. You really just pop them on the outer corner, and it's just really easy. Okay, while that's drying, I am going to take this highlighting powder again, and I'm going to just highlight underneath my eye while we're here. And I'm just going to keep the highlight really on this inner corner area, just brighten it up. You can put it like on the side of your nose to help enhance that nose contour as well. Alright, so I'm just going to pop the lash on. I'm looking down, and I'm just going to pop it there on that outer corner. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take like a little liner brush, and I'm gonna go back in with the shadow, and I'm just gonna basically go over that lash band. And then what I'm gonna do is I'm actually just gonna push the lash up just to make sure it's sticking upwards and not like straight out. And that is it for the Foxy Eyes tutorial. I definitely love how this look does shape my eyes, and honestly, I know it may seem like a lot of steps in the tutorial because I really took a lot of time explaining everything. It's really quick, and I could literally do this look, both eyes, probably in 10 minutes or so, maybe less. It's really, really easy, and it's really flattering, so I definitely recommend trying it out if you haven't already. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Don't forget to give this video a like if you liked it, and I will see you in my video next time.